What is up, guys? It is your boy Phil Shocker, the 96 Hedgehog here with our Week 8 team builder of RGBL. And this is the very important one here, guys. We are going against Rid and his Glansmeal Quagsire. And this is our Week 8 match. Me and him are actually both in third place in our respective divisions. So, essentially, whoever wins this week basically makes playoffs. 100%. Whoever loses has to win their last week and has to hope at least one loss of the other people. So this game is very important to both me and Rid because this really pretty much determines who is going to be making the playoffs in their division. If I win this, I'm pretty much secure my spot in playoffs. If Rid wins, he secures his spot in playoffs. And then if I lose, I have to basically win my last week's match, which is against Aaron, which that matchup itself is going to look like a nightmare itself, too. So, well, let's start off with that. Let's talk about Rid's team here. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to Random Shocker today. Hit that like button, and let's get started. So, he's got a sand team, and his sand team is just really Excadrill. I'm not lying, except Magic Guard on one Pokemon. But other than that, he's got nothing but a sand team of Excadrill. He's got G-Max Anaconda as his G-Max Pokemon, and as for his, Sand user for Sand Spit, and then like Max Rock Ball and stuff like that. Excadrill, Mimikyu, Ditto, Jolteon, my boy. Sigilyph, Mantine, Sawk, Obstagoon, and Leafeon. He sniped me a Leafeon. I actually wanted Leafeon for my team, but he got that from me, which I'm really upset. Looking at this matchup, I really don't see Leafeon per se come this match. It just really has a bad matchup. Obstagoon, I really kind of can't see coming, to be honest with you. It gets pressured so hard with things like my Corviknight, my Surfetch'd, my Goodra, which can just slow it down, my Grimmsnarl, my Orbeetle, essentially. Like, this thing gets pressured. Sawk could come, but I highly doubt it will be, because in order to really do damage against Corviknight, he has to hope and pray to God. I'm not a certain status on it. Actually, I want to change something when we get to the matchup itself, which I really hope I won't regret. Mantine is a relatively average option for him, but Mantine, with my team getting so much electric coverage, and my team just covers a lot of things, I don't really know. I think the 6 you see here is literally best. Sigilyph for sure because of Magic Guard and options for setup. Jolteon because, for one, it's relatively good versus me, not moveset-wise and stuff like that, but is a very scary Pokemon nonetheless. And Ditto is just always a threat to deal with. Mimikyu, obviously, is also a big matchup threat. Excadrill is just always a threat. And the Anaconda is really just here for the sand. Let's break down our team. When you look at his team, what is one Pokemon you see him struggle so much trying to break? That is my Grimmsnarl. G-Max Grimmsnarl, and I've really been using a lot of this Pokemon. I love this Pokemon. Bulk up 3 attacks this week. The reason why we're going 3 attacks this week instead of something to like go recovery and stuff like that, because as you can see, I don't have max fighting, and max fighting would be really good. But here's the thing with having max fighting. I feel like it wastes a turn of my G-Max when I can just click bulk up. Bulk up, once I set up one and something like Sigilyph or Mimikyu comes in, I'm done Gigantamax and then going to click my buttons. That's all I'm doing. With my 3 attacks, I basically beat his entire team with this. The only one that could be a struggle is a really defensive Mantine. Other than that, his team just struggles to beat me, dude. He really does. We're running pretty much dual in HP and attack on 156 with the Impish Nature. We need a lot of physical bulk into this Pokemon because this Pokemon, just like I said, can just click buttons. The goal is to get bulk up at least once and then just click buttons versus him, because that's what all we need to do with Grimmsnarl is just click buttons versus him. Leftovers is there because this thing pretty much is 100% one of the very few, if not the win con for this game, so we gotta be careful with how we play this thing. Up next, we have Corviknight, a.k.a. Chicago. Shout out to my boy Zach and the Chicago Corviknights. And we're running out some really good set this week that I think I'll make this last second change if I really need to, but I was thinking of running Wakomberry, because that way this lets me check Jolteon trying to Thunderbolt me. but then I can just go ahead and click Body Press or Iron Hit after Iron Defense. But again, like I wonder what he actually switches into this thing, actually. Because if you look at his team again, he's got no fire type. He has an electric type that he has to go into because, like, this thing can't primarily touch me because he has to go with Heat Wave. It can't touch me if I go 1v1 against myself. This can't really touch me per se, unless Shadow Claw and Drain Punch. This can't touch me except rock moves. This can't touch me at all except potentially rock move. This thing can potentially hit me with fighting moves. this thing kind of touches me with leg wave. The goal of this is to set up Iron Defense and just basically click buttons out through them. So that's why I'm debating on running the Wakam Berry or not. I think I will run the Wakam Berry, actually. I really hope I don't regret this decision. If I don't see Jolteon, then I'm going to regret it. And if I lose, then it's going to be on me. I'm going to have to just deal with it. Right, max HP, when 176 but def with a careful nature, 16 attack, 20 in defense, give me a little extra boost from my Iron Defensing boost. And 16 attack just gives me a little bit of attack power. Basically, once Jolteon goes down, I beat my own Corviknight set. Essentially, I beat pretty much everything on my team. And when you look at my team, then look at what I have left, you're going to see that Corviknight can't beat the majority of them. Everything else on my team. And it just really can't do too much versus me. I do need to be careful of some things, though, so that's going to be something I have to be really careful about in that type of mindset. Setup versus Ditto is always just scared to do, but you got to do what you got to do, you know? Up next, a mon that really can just kind of potentially win us this game. That's Flareon. Flareon with that Toxicorp gut set, a.k.a. Zach, from my man Zach, because he loved this Flareon. But Flame Charge, Facade, Wish, and Protect, 112 in attack, 1 in HP for a little bit of bulk, max attack, and enough speed where we outspeed max speed drill outside of sand. The goal is to Flame Charge up on anything, and then just click Facade, because he's got no Ghost. He does have a Ghost type, but I'm pretty sure his Ghost type doesn't want to come in on a Flame Charge. The reason why I have Flame Charge is for, again, speed control and stuff like that. And plus, I don't mind this being my only way to hit Mimikyu, because Mimikyu has to fear the fact that I could have that. And plus, with Wish Protect, it's really good to stall potential turns of not only sand, but also chances to heal up either the team or heal up some of them on coming into the matchup. So that's why I went with that set. Up next, we have Salamandra, and this is probably the weirdest set you will ever see a Goodra ever have. In case this Ditto is Scarfed, I want to make sure it can't touch anything on my team. This Ditto does not touch Zach because of Guts. It does not touch my Chicago. And this thing really doesn't touch my Ganon. Ditto has been pressured a lot now with this set. And plus, this set lets me help beat Mimikyu. The goal is to hopefully get a subs up before Mimikyu comes in or anything like that. And then I click Toxic and Usurp against everything on his team. Oh, by the way, if I haven't mentioned, I have Power Whip, Darkest Lair, and Play Rough. Play Rough plus Darker Lair just hurts his team. Power Whip's only really on there for Sandaconda, so I'll probably mention that real quick. But Surf plus Dragon Pulse checks his team for neutral affection and everything like that. We're running 176 HP, 208 with a bold nature, 160 in HP in special attack, and 80 in speed def. This thing is my physically defensive wall for this game, and I'm really hoping that we can just be able to do a lot of things for this Pokemon in that sense of regard. Up next is Gladiator, and Gladiator is also another very important piece of this puzzle. Now, there's a lot of questioning things on this set, and there are some things I wish I could add, some things I wish I could just not have, but I gotta have what I gotta have. First off, you see First Impression. Obviously, First Impression is not really that good of a thing. But I have First Impression there in case he gets his sand up and Drill comes in on me. I want to be able to chip Drill down into the point where he can't come in on me again. And I can just weaken him now. Because if I get him down roughly over to about 50% this does kill with First Impression. I've done calcs with it before. It does kill. Close combat, there's no safe situation besides Sigalith and that, but Sigalith doesn't want to catch a knockoff for a Night Slash. I was debating on running Life Orb and stuff like that, but without having proper webs in this matchup, I just don't think it's really worth it. But Surface just Scarf just can just click the buttons versus this entire team. And plus, if I can 2-hit KO with close combat on a Sigalith, that would be pretty sick. But I'm pretty sure that Sigalith is the only counter, realistically counter to this thing. But if you guys are ready, I have seen a man do this before. I think I can pull it off with this one. Weakness, Policy, Jellicent, Trickery, Recover, Skull, Shadow Ball. Basically, recovers there to keep me healthy as much as I can. Skull and Shadow Ball, there is no safe switch on it. He only has a Water Absorber. 136 in HP, max defense with Bold Nature, 120 in special attack. This is the tech. I really hope we can do it. I'm really hoping we can do well. But with all that being said, I'm Phil Shotgun, I say Hedgehog.